Hello, welcome to Current Exposure. How is everyone doing this evening? Let's get some eyeballs and ears into the stream and onto the stream. I have a special guest for you all this evening. I have Brother Gene Bouie. Let me give you an introduction about him. Brother Gene Bouie is a lifelong servant leader with more than 50 years of experience in leadership. Underline leadership, management, public service, and community transformation. He is a former president of the Trenton Board of Education, senior director at Educational Testing Services, also known as ETS. Many people are probably familiar. Senior director at Educational Testing Service. Oh, I said that. Sorry. Also executive director of the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey Training and Development Institute. He has devoted his life to improving systems, strengthening communities, and lifting people. As founder and president of Tyson Consulting Group, LLC, Brother Gene has advised organizations across the nonprofit, education, municipal, underline the municipal, and business sectors. His expertise in strategic planning, one of my favorite, strategic planning, process quality. I like that one too. You need process quality, workforce development, and operational excellence, supported by his Six Sigma Green Belt. His expertise and experience has made him a trusted voice in government reform and economic mobility. Now, Brother Gene wrote a book. Here's the book. It's called A City Worth Fighting For: Strategies to Lift Trenton and Its People. You can get the book on Amazon, but let me bring Brother Gene on. Hello, Brother Gene.
Hey, little sister, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm okay. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. I'm sitting listening to you. I said, wow, I did all that. I've been around a long time. All right.
Nice. Yes. This is why you're a trusted voice in government reform and economic mobility, because of everything that you've done. You know, it has brought you to this point, and I felt like this was a perfect time to have you on.
Okay, great. I'm pleased and honored to be here, sis.
Thank you. Leadership has gone haywire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just my 2 cents for what it's worth.
Okay.
I think that sometimes we confuse leaders with leadership. So you could be a quote unquote leader, but not have the necessary skills and abilities to be effective in the role of leadership, right?
Right.
So, and I didn't mean to get deep about it, but sometimes we default to people in roles of leaders because they've done the job the longest, or they were great when they were performing the day-to-day tasks of the work. And then when you move them into a leadership role, they don't have all of the prerequisite skills to be successful in that new role. So they're great individual contributors, but when it comes to managing and leading groups of people in operations, there's some challenges there. So that's what I meant by leaders,
Okay.
People.
And you know what I used to think of it as I would watch people and I would see them get into positions of leadership and believe that having the title of what
Mm.
that leadership role is was going to like instantaneously make them a leader without
Yeah.
work into it. And I used to
Mm.
wonder, like, why would you think this was going to run by itself?
Mm. Mm. It's really interesting. I think that I think in one of our conversations, I talked about preparation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so for those who do desire to one day be in leadership, you
Mm-hmm.
need to prepare yourself with skills that superior leaders have, right? And just off the top of my head, critical thinking.
Right.
A lot of us, we don't even know how to acquire those skills, but we have them every day. I'll give you a perfect example, right? So I was facilitating a session around critical thinking for some teenagers, think
Okay.
14 to 18, right?
Oh, nice.
And to give them an idea of what critical thinking really is. Um, and I like to give away money, so I might have $20, right? And so I'll
Okay.
ask the question, what two numbers, when combined, equal 7?
Okay.
Then you get somebody to say, oh, 5 and 2. So
Right.
I
That's
give
what I
them,
was
right,
thinking.
that's right, 5 and 2. So I give them $10. And then I'll ask the question again, what two other numbers, when combined, gives you a total of 7? So then you get 6 and 1, 4 and
Okay.
3,
Ah,
7 and 0,
ah,
right? Right.
that
Well,
is
that's
okay.
that's critical thinking in the simplest form.
Wow.
You take the information that you have based
Mhm.
on what you know gives you an end result or an answer to the question. So that real simple critical thinking. That's very simple, and it's amazing how I've watched it click for these teenagers. They're like, "Oh
Right.
wow!" And then here's another example. So you know how you get dressed in the morning and you say, "Okay, I want to wear blue and red today."
Okay.
And you go in your closet, you get your blue shirt, and then you
Mm-hmm.
say, well, red pants are a little loud, so I'm going to wear darker blue pants with red sneakers and a red belt. That's critical
Okay.
thinking.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
those very simple, but that's critical thinking, right? And
Okay.
so what typically happens when folks go into leadership, they don't make the connection. They don't make the
Ah,
connection that they're doing these natural things. So you got
okay.
to ask some questions, take information that you have, ask. You might have to gather some additional information, even ask some people who know a little bit more than you, and that brings you to a conclusion. So
Okay.
critical thinking is one of the things. And then nowadays, because things are so sensitive, you need emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence starts with self-management, right? So
Right.
those
Right.
those two skills are critical to leaders, and you can develop them. You can take courses in them. You can do
Wow.
workshops in them so that you
Wow.
you think differently going into whatever that next. So you're prepared. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway, yeah.
Right.
So I
Wow.
hope that
So
was.
so why so basically some people just aren't thinking critically in leadership roles, the ones that I was telling you about where
Mhm.
I'm like, why did they think the title would automatically instill leadership qualities in them?
Well, so I won't put all that on the people. I will put that on the people who gave them the title, that they didn't prepare them with those
Mm.
skills first, right? Because people only know what they know, right? And
Okay. Okay.
so I'll give you here's another good example, right? So during my 50 years, I I happened to I was working at ETS, and Dale Carnegie offers this incredible training. It's called leadership. It's called leadership development for managers. That's what I think it's called, right?
Okay.
Leadership development for managers. And what's really cool about this training is it actually gives you all of the skills. It builds the skills, but it's project based. And so you actually work on a project that looks at driving efficiency or reducing costs while you develop those leadership skills. So just that course, we assigned back in those days, because people were investing in learning and development, we assigned all employees who managers felt had a leadership potential to go through those courses.
Okay.
But we went through one step further for those people who have been managers forever.
Yeah.
And doing the wrong things wrong because that's all they knew. We put them back through the course too, right? Because people only know what they know, right?
Okay.
Yeah, people only know what they know. And then that end drives culture. So you got everybody knowing the same thing, thinking the same way, moving in the same direction, but they bring to it their individuality, right? So you are the sum total of your life experiences. When you could bring what you know to a situation, chances are you'll be successful if you utilize your critical thinking and emotional intelligence skills.
So, okay. All right. Now, how did you follow up after you put the people into these the managers back in and people with potential for leadership into this training? How do you make sure the training was effective? Yeah.
Yeah. So remember I said it was project based. So over time, you either whatever project you're working on has to reduce costs or improve efficiency. And then basically you track that over time. So 3 months, 6 months into it, you're going checking back in, looking for progress. At the end of the day, once it's all complete, then you actually get recognized for the accomplishment. Now you've actually lived that experience, right? And you have something tangible to show at the end of it. You know what I mean? Yeah, one thing we don't do a good job, in my humble opinion, is follow through and follow up. Those are big gaps, right? We put people down this road. We don't check on them. We don't give them continuing support. All that stuff. You know what I mean? Like they got some training. Now they're got it. Let's go. Let's go.
And you're talking my language because in dysfunctional organizations, I see that, and I use the technical terms, which pretty much is the same you said of the formative evaluation and the summative evaluation.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
That's not happening. And I'm like, okay, that's why this organization is not meeting its goals or its metrics. I'm with you on it.
So way back in 1976, I was a key punch operator. So I don't know, you're kind of young, but back in the old days, it was called data processing. And you had to key punch holes in the cards to feed into the IBM computers, right?
Wow, that sounds like it was fun back then.
Yeah, it was interesting. And so what happened was I got that particular job after I graduated because I could type. So when I was in high school and the guys were taking wood shop and carpentry, all that stuff, and printing, all the girls was in the typing class. So I took 2 years worth of typing 1 and 2, and the skills that I acquired actually got me a job because I could type 65 words a minute. So anyway,
Yes,
going
yes.
going back to those days. So I'm doing this work, and we had this big data processing center, and you had groups of key punch operators sitting next to each other. So there
Okay.
was I worked for an Italian woman, and then there was a sister who ran a unit right next to me, and she came to me one day and she says, you know, your manager isn't going to put you in to go through the management assessment, and
Really?
I can't because you don't work for me, but you can nominate yourself. So I
Oh.
said, oh, sister, pull my quote, right? So I nominated myself. I went through the management assessment, and it was with New Jersey Bell Telephone Company. And back in those days, they spent a whole day assessing you before you even got the opportunity to become a manager. But it's leading me to
Oh.
this. So
Okay.
one of the activities was they gave you a stack of stuff, tell you got 40 minutes to get this big stack, 10 things done, and they're going to time you. So unlike other folks, I took my time and read through all of the things, and then I
Oh.
created piles, what appeared to be very important, not so important, and just not at all. And I went through the work. I went through the
Wow.
work like that. And so I got one of the highest scores of anybody up until that time. But that's critical thinking. See, so
Yeah.
you got a clock, but when you're working in business, it's not always the amount or the quantity of stuff that you do. Did you do the quality has to be there? Did you do the
Oh,
right
yes.
things first?
Yes.
Prioritization, right? And
Right.
so those are the kind of things that organizations need to do to develop people. You know, people are going to learn by themselves. Organizations don't get better by themselves. You can't take a person because they're a great person, you see they have good people skills, and make them a supervisor without preparing them for that work, right? So.
Right. Wow. All right. Let's get into why you wrote this book.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's get into that, the blueprint.
Yeah. So it's really funny. So I've lived in Trenton 18 years. It'll be 19 years this year.
Okay.
This coming October, and I've been around a lot of different efforts. I sat on the board of the local YMCA for 8 years. I've now sat on the school board. This is my 10th year.
Wow.
I support other nonprofits in the city, and I've been up close and personal with the folks that are running Trenton through different administrations. So at the time I was put on the board, I was appointed by Brother Mayor Eric Jackson, and so I've seen a lot. I feel the pain. I live in a nice part of town, pay a lot of taxes, and then so I want to get a return on my investment. If that makes sense to you, right?
That makes a whole lot of sense.
And so a lot of young people were calling me and saying, Brother Gene, I'm thinking about running for office. Nobody ever asked my opinion about it, but they said, I'm thinking of running for office. And when young people want to stand up and contribute, you have to feed that, right? Because you need that youth, that energy.
Right.
And so I started writing, op-eds for the Trentonian. And the reason I did that was because I wasn't sure what these young people had been exposed to. And being the mayor ain't just kissing babies and taking photo ops, right? You got to run an organization. So
you gotta roll your sleeves up.
You see me, right? And so I figured if I would write op-eds, it would do a couple of things. The first thing it would do is it would help these people who want to be leaders in the city to understand what that looks like to be effective, right? The second thing is voters typically vote for personality, The people they
Yes.
know most in a small town like Trenton, everybody knows everybody. So you come to the barbecue every year. You always at Aunt such and such house. So you really cool. So I'm gonna vote for you. Not thinking if they're prepared
Wow.
for the job, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
if you don't bring a different set of skills to the job, you get more of the same. And
Wow.
so I figured I'd write these op-eds. The first op-ed I wrote is because we're having a problem with the Trenton Waterworks, which is the city's water company. It's run by the
Okay.
city. And
Okay.
so, yeah, so the first op-ed I wrote was about that. How you gotta, that's a big system,
Mm,
and failure will continue until we approach solving the problem differently. And I think
okay.
at the time, Joe Biden, they passed the Infrastructure Act,
Right. Yes,
and
they did.
that Infrastructure Act had money built into it for infrastructure, water company. So
Water.
you could have put the
Wow.
so I
So
wrote that first.
wow.
I wrote the first op-ed to kind of help the city think about the work. No one listened to me, but that's okay because my job is only you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink.
Right.
But my job, I am responsible. Scripture tells us that we are responsible for what we know. You
Okay.
know, hiding your light under a bushel basket, right? Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so then these young folks are saying that they want to run, Brother Gene, want to run. So I figured that I would write these articles to help them think about what's involved.
Okay.
And so then once I did, I must have did 12 op-eds, right? I
Wow.
said,
That's a lot.
but the election ain't till November. They are not going to remember that on December 3rd, Brother Gene wrote an essay about mission, right? So
I would. I would have turned it into a PDF, printed it out, and I would have had a file.
but see, but
Right
that's
in the
work.
file, my notes.
But that's work. So what I did was I wrote the book. I guess you showed it. There it is. So I
Yep.
wrote the book because all of those strategies, now they have something that they got a problem, they could go look for it, go to section, go to table of contents, find it, and help
Absolutely.
them think different. So that's what got me to the point of writing a book. I never thought I would write a book. I'm not that guy. Yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy, but I've seen enough. Our
Good stuff.
city, our city has 100,000 people in it. It's only 7.5 square miles. Trenton could be a model for what other urban cities should be if we think and act differently. And so that got us to me doing this book. And then I guess that were you able to pull up that email with those slides in it
Yes,
by
I
chance?
do have. Yes, I do have them.
Okay, so the first one I want you to pull up is the
Okay.
mission.
Hold on. The mission. Okay. The mission. Let's see.
Not the Venn diagram. Yep, that's it right there. Okay. So before I even did any of this, I had to find I had to find if the city had a mission. And if they had a mission, what does it say that Trenton will do? And
Right.
so
Right.
this is right from the Trenton website,
And I
right?
maximized it.
Yeah.
I've never seen my city's mission.
Should go
And
look for
now
it. You should go
yeah,
should go look for it.
you piqued
Cause
my curiosity.
okay, because now I'm going back into my. I worked for ETS. You mentioned that earlier, right?
Yes.
It's a multi-billion-dollar nonprofit. When
Wow.
I first got there in 2001, like 6 to 9 months before I got there, they had to borrow money to make payroll. You see that look on your face, right? So
I would have been like,
yeah,
did I pick the right job?
but good leadership says we have a problem. Let me surround our staff with people who could move the mission forward. That's how I
That
got
makes sense.
recruited to come there, right? Makes sense.
It's
So,
very important to have a mission and a
yeah, it's
basically
very
purpose.
important. Very important.
Oh
So,
man.
so the mission drives the work. So the
Right,
city shouldn't chase shiny things, none of that
right.
stuff. You do the things that drive and support the mission. So pull up the other slide,
Okay, I
right?
have, let's see. Wow, like you got me thinking because if there's no mission, where are we going?
What are we doing, right?
And
What are
what
we
right,
doing?
what are we doing here?
What are we doing? Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is oh, I like this. I like this.
Okay. So,
Let me maximize that.
okay. So I'm a nut, a geek for Venn diagrams. And Venn diagrams are simply diagrams that allow you to show the interrelationships between things, right? And
Right.
so in this case, I looked at the mission and I said, we need pillars, strategic pillars to focus on to drive the mission.
Mm,
So when you think about a successful organization or a successful city, money is drives everything. So the first circle is fiscal responsibility and economic growth. You got to
mhm.
manage the dollars that you have and try to add more dollars to it
I
and
see.
use it wisely, right? So
Right.
that's the first circle. The second circle is quality government and
Okay.
operational excellence. So you need to eliminate waste,
Mhm.
drive productivity, right? Make sure that you're executing everything at the very highest level. You raise the whole standard of the operation through that next circle. Then it's a
Mhm.
city. So you have to focus on public safety and community wellness.
Right.
Most cities are divided into sections. You
Mhm.
cannot have a successful city if one of your sections is dying.
Right.
You need to focus economically and security wise on all of the different sections of the city. That's public safety and community wellness. What's going to help make the community well? And high poverty, every trauma is a thing. So there
Yeah.
must be some component to address mental health issues in a real way, drug dependencies in a real way. And then
Right.
lastly, people-centered development. This is a very important, if you think about it, that if you grow people, you transform the city. You have to grow the people inside the organization, but you have to grow the people in the neighborhoods.
You can't just
So
throw
for
people away.
you cannot. And high poverty, if Trenton has a poverty rate 27, almost 28%, I think north to 25.
Woo. And you know what? I crunched those numbers and
Yes,
that
ma'am.
came out to 60,000, over 60 something thousand people in poverty.
Yes.
So our poverty population is 2/3 of your population.
Think about it.
That's deep. That's a lot of
That's
people.
really, that's a lot.
That's a city, pretty much.
That's yes.
And
And
that's
so
not good.
that is not good. So I'll give you an example of how I think just because of my background in running a business, right, for
Mhm.
ETS, that when you do your annual budgeting has to look at um, how much cash are we acquiring, how much
Mhm.
waste is there, like
Mhm.
how many people are doing the same job and you're paying three people to do one job and everybody's making $70,000, right?
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
$210,000 when you only need to be spending 70, right?
Right, right.
So when you look at waste, that doesn't mean you just throw people out. That means you shift people to other areas where their skills and knowledge could be a better benefit, right? Because no, you don't throw
Right.
people away. The whole idea is not to throw. You give everyone the opportunity to perform at the highest level, and then if they can't cut it, that's
there's another space for them.
That's a whole nother. You got some people just gotta go. Like some people don't want to come to work. Never come to work on time. Never come back for break on time. Never produce the adequate number of widgets or whatever. And then once you talk with them, once you retrain them, once you try to go with them, once you give them a partner or a mentor, at the end of the day, they are responsible for whether they stay. We going in a whole nother direction, and it's okay because everybody ain't ready to roll like that, right? But anyway, so
gotcha. Okay.
And then so the money that you save, just think of it. So we just went through COVID. There was ARP money coming out the yin yang. Just think how many people could have probably been brought off poverty if we thought differently about utilizing the ARP funds for skills development for those people living at or below the poverty level. Right. Now, I'm going to give you an example. A CDL license, CDL certification. If I get a CDL license, I can take that CDL license and go anywhere in the country and drive a truck. It's not a job, it's a career. A CDL license costs about $5,500, beginning to end, license and end. Okay. If you took $1 million of that ARP money, how many CDL licenses people could have had CDL license? Think about this. Cybersecurity. Cybersecurity. A cybersecurity first level certification is $1,200.
Wow.
How many that allows them to work at a help desk? That's a $40,000 a year job. Think about what I'm saying, right? So when you think about people centered, it's let's look at how much money we can of the budget can we shift and reinvest in people, the people that work for us and the people that live around us. So that's how we get to the Venn diagram, and all four of those are like legs on the table, and then hold up Trenton, right?
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
And then hold up the city, right? And so this, if you think about whatever the mission says, when you think about it, financial has to be one of the pillars. Quality has to be another pillar. In this case, it's an urban city. It's been just totally disrespected. If you think back to the 70s, so you're not 50 years old, so you might not recall this. But urban renewal
after the 70s, actually.
Okay. So when you think about urban renewal, I lived in Newark at the time. I was young. Urban renewal actually built Route 280. It ran through my neighborhood. So many families were displaced. In Trenton, Route 29 ran through Black neighborhoods. So many was displaced. And so you got these traumatized people in these different areas of the community. And so that's how you get to people-centered development. And so that is what.
I was going to ask you, how do you deal with trauma that occurred from the 70s and still impacts us today to move forward?
Okay, cool. And this is just my 2 cents, right? This is Brother Gene's. Everybody got their own opinion. This is just Brother Gene's because I have a lived experience.
Exactly. That's why I want to hear it.
based on my lived experience, I'm going to go back, I said 50, now we're going to go back 60 years because it lays the base for where we're living right now, right?
Okay.
So in 1964, the Civil Rights Act was passed.
Okay, yep.
1965, the Voting Rights Act was passed.
Yep.
We were so-called U.S. citizens. to the full
Oh,
extent. God bless his heart, Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was the president at the time, he had a war on poverty.
okay.
Lyndon was looking to make sure that people had food and a place to live.
Okay.
So they developed programs to ensure people had food and a place to live.
The safety
Well, if
net.
you, right. I would try to be nice. I'm being nice here. Promise I won't cuss. Sometimes this stuff makes me
Oh,
want to
it's current exposure. Get into it. Get into it.
so that strategy, which was a
Uh-huh.
good one, because at the time folks needed that. When you think about we as Black people, we didn't have, no, I take that back. When we spent our money with each other, we had everything. Soon it
Right.
was opened up, we could spend our money with other folks. We start spending money with other folks and forgot all about our own self. But that's a whole nother
Yeah.
conversation for a whole nother time. What that strategy does is it made us dependent. We are
Okay.
dependent on people taking care of us. The cities were built and structured so that you got the poor. You have to take care of them. You create these programs and you help a few. Well, I think that's really very, very noble. I think it's noble. But you have to make people self-sufficient.
So that's like having that compassion without competence.
That's, oh, you really read the book, didn't you?
Oh, of
Look at
course.
you.
Of
Look at
course.
you. You
Of
read the
course.
book.
And
So,
it solidified things I've already studied, but that's
yeah,
oh yeah,
that's,
I
yeah,
read it. I
because
read it.
you can have all of the heart
Notes.
in the world. You can have all the heart in the world, but you can't let the heart get in the way of progress. And I'm only saying that, okay, so um, a lot of the decisions that we make are for right now. We make right now decisions. I think that strategy was a right now decision, but it never evolved.
Okay.
So they come up with these things in the 90s. Bill Clinton did welfare to work,
Right.
but that shocked the system. And all it said was, you got to go get a job. We're not going to prepare you to go get a job. Employers are looking for these skills. We ain't going to give them to you, but you got to find a job. We're going to take some of that money we did. Well, the money going to run out soon. So we need a different strategy. So,
Right.
so for me, our new strategy is that we build people. We
Mm-hmm.
prepare people for tomorrow.
Right.
I've been homeless. I've been all that
Wow.
stuff,
Wow.
but I had skills. So I
Mm.
leveraged my skills to change my reality. So what we need to do is to prepare people. I mean, there is so much opportunity. I think the partnership between school systems and cities could be
Uh-huh.
better because you have
Right.
a pipeline of workers, right?
I
City needs
agree. I
workers.
agree.
And so
Yeah.
you prepare them to go to work. And so
Yeah.
it's a shift in the way we think about solving this complex problem. And I'm just going to say this. I might as well say this now rather than wait till later. I remember I talked about the urban renewal.
Yes. With the highways cutting through neighborhoods.
Black people are owed. We are
Okay.
owed reparations. You have to repair the condition of the people in these cities. And people could get all the offense that they want, but reparations have been paid to everybody but us. When you
Wow.
think
Right.
about the when you
Absolutely.
yeah, when you think about just go back and look at the Homestead Act. We were cut out of the Homestead Act. Think about the GI Bill where they gave money to buy houses. We were cut out of those things. So Black people are owed. And my thing isn't whether we're owed or not, it's when and how. And
Okay.
I'm saying that when is right now. The question becomes how, right? Because a fool and his money will soon part. So if you give a guy
Right.
a check who's never known anything about balancing a budget, he gonna waste that money going. First, he gonna be celebrating because he got the check.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He gonna be celebrating that money be gone, and he's in the same condition. So why not invest in people at a
Okay.
big level where we make them self-sufficient? So we ensure they get certification. So we ensure that they get into home. They don't need the down payment for the money because the
Right,
reparations secure the house. I mean, you still
right.
got to go through all of the learning and teaching about home ownership
Exactly.
and all that. You still got to pass the credit check. So
Right.
this ain't a gift. So anyway, so that's a whole nother thing. People
You
centered
gotta make a
development.
little, yeah, a little
Development.
effort.
Right,
Oh,
right. So that's, so I just think that if we're going to move forward as cities, first thing
mhm.
we need to do is we need to approach the management of the cities differently. We need
Okay.
to realize that this isn't, and some people get it confused. They think because it's politics. It is not politics. It's leadership and management. Politics is how you get in office. All
I got
right.
I have to, yeah, because
It's not
people,
politics, man. It's not. It's not. And then the guys who funded you to get in the office, they looking for something. And so in order to get back in office, you still need their money. So whose bidding you gonna do? You gonna do the
exactly.
city, or you gonna do the bidding of the people that brought you to the party? I'm saying that when you get in, do the right thing, and the people will take care of you. You won't have to worry about them dollars. Yeah, you still got to raise some money, but
I agree.
hey, I'm voting for him because that brother took care of us.
Right. You're right. And
You know what
the
I'm
right
saying? Or
thing.
that
Yeah.
sister, right? Or that
Right.
sister. You know.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's not politics. It's called leadership and management.
Absolutely.
And when you think about structure, I'm not talking too much.
No, no, you're not.
Okay,
No, this
okay.
is good.
So
This is
so when
good.
you think about structure, you have the mayor and his
Mhm.
direct reports, which is called the cabinet.
Mhm.
Well, if
Yep.
there are holes in the cabinet, you can't get the work done. That empty seat or that empty head is getting in the way of progress. And so a
I
real leader you can't worry about loyalty. You can't buy loyalty. Like, I'm loyal to those who do what the hell they're supposed to do.
right.
I'm loyal to those who give me honest answers when I ask deliberate questions. Who is it? Abraham Lincoln. His cabinet was all the people he didn't get along with.
So hey, but
That,
they
that's
that's checks and
listen.
balances.
That's
They
the
do it.
balance, right? Right.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got to get away from this little
You're
d
not
and
my
little r stuff.
friend. What?
Come
Yeah,
on, man.
you don't hang out with me and have a drink after. No,
Right?
this
It
like you said,
doesn't work.
leadership and management. Right.
That's right. Right. So there was a quote that said that unity is not sameness, it's the oneness of purpose.
I like
Think
that.
about that.
The
Just think
oneness
about that.
purpose.
A
Yep.
purpose. We all got the same purpose. We might have different ideas on how to get there. Me and Brother Kevin, that's my brother for 30 some years, man. And we have some incredible conversations because we see things the same, yet differently. We all want to get to the same place, but our path, we choose different paths to get there. Sometimes he's right, sometimes I'm right. He's still my brother and I love him, and we don't argue. And you know Kevin, he intense, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, brother intense, man. I
I
love it.
gotta
He has
bring.
me
Oh
crying.
yeah, yeah. Oh my
he's,
gosh.
he is, he's intense, but so when you think about leadership, you can't have holes. So for example, and
I
this is a
agree.
general structure, you got a mayor, you have a finance director, you have a business administrator, you probably have a director of economic development, you
Yes.
have a director of police, a director
Mhm.
of fire, a director of human resources. So I'm just going to say six. If you
Okay.
got more than them, you could probably collapse some of them roles because they ain't really doing the work for it. You know, ain't that much work going on. You could tell the evidence. But anyway, so you got six. If you do not have a finance director and a director of economic development
Mhm.
working along with your business administrator, guess what? You're not going to first Venn circle. you aren't going to be physically responsible, and you sure ain't going to grow economically. If you do, it's luck, right?
Oh.
So structure, you have to think about structure. Structure is so critical. And if for all those people who want to be mayor, if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room.
I agree.
If your insecurities keeps you from surrounding yourself with people who know more or has specific knowledge levels in certain things than you do, you need to go see Jesus. Have a come to Jesus meeting. I'm just being straight, because that's what's getting it. Those are barriers. Those are barriers we create for ourselves. And those barriers negatively impact the city and the people that live in the city. It's just that,
absolutely right.
It's just that simple.
City services get impacted.
And cities are service organizations, multi-million-dollar service organizations. They need to be run as such. So I don't know if you ever read the book Good to Great by Jim Collins.
No, I haven't. Let me write that down.
Write that book down. Easy read. I read it 25 years ago.
Okay.
When I got recruited to go to ETS, my VP, he used to give us a book a week to read.
Oh.
It was his book, Good to Great. And I read the book, and Jim Collins says in the book, don't let good be the enemy of great. We haven't settled for stuff. It was good enough.
Yes.
So I'm a senior myself now, but I know some seniors older than me. They've been sick for a long time, but they keep going to the same doctor because that's the one they know. Good enough is not
good enough.
He doing the best he can. No, hell no. If you ain't getting no better, you need to check out a section option. And so
that's true though. That's true. Very true.
Because this is critical thinking 101. This is what we have here. So in the book Good to Great, and it's about organizations. Jim Collins says that you got to get the wrong people off the bus, the right people on the bus, and then you got to get them in the right seat.
Okay.
Everybody ain't cut to do the same thing.
Wow. Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Simple critical thinking. I'm telling you. I'm sorry. This is so much fun.
I've seen that too. I've seen people in somebody else's job, doing someone else's job title. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's not even what you're supposed to be doing. That's not your seat.
Yeah.
And then that person that's in the seat, they're doing whatever.
There you go. You man, you are sailing. You are sailing. And so what we have to do, and I'm talking about leadership because I'm talking about my city. Right? That's why I did the book, to help my city. Can you pull back up that Venn diagram? I just want to show folks one more thing.
Yes, I can. There it is.
Okay, it looks like we only got 10 minutes, right? So I'm going to try to hit this thing really quick. So if you notice the Venn diagram, the circles overlap.
Yes,
you notice. So when you think about if this is the strategy and you build goals and objectives off the strategy, there are some objectives or some goals that will overlap between these circles. So each of the circles owns a piece of it. That's how you get rid of silos. So you have collaboration to drive it forward. And as you can look here, all of those circles overlap at some point.
Right.
Because they all contribute to the whole, to supporting the whole. And so you can't have a cat sitting in the health and human services role, not thinking that economic development and growth isn't a part of his responsibility. Human services mean people eat. You help people eat. You help people secure places to live. So you have
Right.
to partner with the economic development guy and also with the finance guy because you got to find the money. Yes.
Wow.
All right.
You
So
you just solved the problem that I was trying to solve about silos.
yeah, it's because, and you probably don't have one of these diagrams because if you have one
It,
of these diagrams, it's and then so there's a RASCI. Write that down. RASCI. It's a RACI
okay.
chart.
Okay.
It's a RACI chart, and it just says who's responsible for what, who has ultimate responsibility, who is a communicator, who is an influencer, and so you need in an organization you need to keep those because guess what that's going to help you do? Eliminate waste, become more efficient,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
so you need a RACI chart. Now I didn't go into deep, but I don't know if you saw my op-ed this morning.
No, I didn't get a chance to see
All
it.
right. So you need to read part one because part two is coming out
Okay.
tomorrow. And I don't use the term racy in part two,
Okay.
but I'm describing it in words
All right. All
because
right.
people sometimes get caught up in acronyms, right?
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. So part two is tomorrow, and it talks about racy and all of that good stuff. So since we got 7 minutes, I tried to cover the book,
No,
the
you can do
strategy, and everything.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I
Listen.
don't want to hold you up.
No,
You
I
know.
don't want to hold you up. If there's a point that you want to make and it goes a little over, that's
Okay.
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 That's
Okay.
okay.
Good. Okay. Good.
Because
So
I like that how we're getting into leadership because I want to talk about my favorite chapter 10.
is
10
what
right
is
here,
it, Casey?
10 lifting residents.
Out of poverty and not managing it. Yes. So that chapter is going to make some people uncomfortable.
I loved it.
Yeah, some people are going to be uncomfortable because the 1960 strategy is to
Mm-hmm.
utilize nonprofits and churches to service the people. And so what I'm saying is they still have a role to play in that, but we got to take it up a level.
Exactly.
Yeah, we just got to take it up a level because people still need to get training, but they just don't need to get training. They need to get certifications. It's a difference. So
Right.
because you need to prepare them for tomorrow. And if you give them a certification, guess what? They could go anywhere in the country and work. They never have to worry about being hungry again. They never have to
Exactly.
worry about being a college graduate with a degree and you can't eat because you can't find a job in your field, right?
Right.
That's the
Right.
whole.
Right.
So we need to take that up a level and then a lot of times nonprofits work in silos too. So
Yeah.
because they have their little niche. But if
Yeah.
you got a niche, somebody else got a niche, and somebody else got a niche, why don't y'all do a Venn diagram and help more people at
Exactly.
a higher level, right?
Exactly.
So
Yep. Or create a coalition.
that's exactly right. So a mentor of mine, Jerry Harris, bless his heart. I met him almost 20 years ago. I'd
Okay.
already been in management leadership. And so I met him and he says, Brother Gene, I'm having a meeting with some nonprofits. I want you to come. I think I was sitting on the YMCA board at the
Okay.
time. And he said that we need to get these nonprofits to work more collaboratively. So I have to take my hats off. I see in Trenton, they are moving in that direction in a big way. They are
Nice.
like, yeah, they are like
Nice.
really, they just organically realize that, hey, I got people over here that could benefit from what you got.
Right.
You got
Right.
people like that could see, and that's the way you do it, right? But he said something so profound, and I talk about it all the time. He said relationships precede the work. You can't get no work done unless there is a relationship established first, because it gives you trust, it gives you confidence, it gives you understanding so that you can effectively work together for the common good.
Wow.
And so that's one point I wanted to make. And then the next one is about time. I want to go out on the record saying we about out of time. If you look at the CAT and the policies coming out of Washington, we all out of time. So that means we have to think differently.
Yeah.
We have to think differently, and we got to be on time.
Exactly.
Minister Farrakhan, he did a lecture series called The Time and What Must Be Done. And there's a bunch of different lectures that talk about the time. You got to look at the time and what must be done. And you got to realize that your way ain't the only way.
I like that too. I like that too.
That's growth. Like I did the critical thinking thing, but check this out. If your mother told you that 4 and 3 is 7, and my mother told me 5 and 2 is 7, and John's mother told him that 6 and 1 is 7, sounds very differently, right?
Right.
But it gets to 7.
The outcome is still the same. Yeah.
Right? And so we need to rethink how we approach each other in the work, right? And we also need to stop expectations. You put a burden of expectations on people who can't deliver, it does none of us any good.
Yeah.
So those are some things that to me are transformational, right?
Okay.
And then we gotta have respect, right? So I remember reading where hope this doesn't offend anybody, but it's true. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, "Study the white man. Okay. He is successful, and he makes no excuses for his failures." That's profound.
Wow.
He runs everything.
Wow.
Why? Because he's thought about it. He's had time to perfect it. We want to get there. We like the dollar menu crew. We want to cheap, get there quick, blah, blah, the microwave generation.
Yep. Yeah.
Transformation ain't a quick hit. If you want to transform things, you can really make a big dent in transformation in 3 to 5 years. And everything will look different. But you need to think differently about the work.
Exactly.
And you need all these young folks going to college and getting these degrees. Come back and put that degree to some use in your community. You got an MBA, you got a PhD, you got an accounting degree, you got a organizational development degree. Come back and use that in your community. Volunteer. I've been on the school board for 10 years. Guess what? I don't get paid. It's a volunteer position.
Wow.
But I bring to every conversation what I know. Volunteer to help these organizations that's trying to do real work. And if somebody comes to you and they're doing a fundraiser, listen, message to the Black man. Elijah Muhammad said, nickels, dimes, dollars, and quarters.
Okay.
If all you got is a quarter and you want to put that quarter to help the cause, put that quarter, but then do it religiously. Do it a quarter a month.
Okay.
Right? Every 4 months you got $1.
Okay.
End of the year, I got $5. See what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
wow, now you're talking.
We need to change how we think about solving these complex problems. And I venture to say I'm so enthusiastic. I don't know how this election gonna go in Trenton. I really don't know. But the fact that people fired up and ready to go, and one of the sisters took a picture of my book, texted me, inboxed me, and said, "This is my favorite page." Had a circle around it with her little notes and stuff. That kind of stuff changes how we think, and it changes the criterion by which we judge people who say they want to serve us.
Exactly.
Right? We could put a whole lot. We listen for a whole different kind of language now. I'm all for the people, power to the people, and then you don't talk about how you gonna lift the people. Right?
No plan, just talking.
No plan. Yeah, man. So yeah, that's how we got to this book. And since I wrote the book, I probably wrote 6 more op-eds. This
Wow.
is
So wait,
crazy.
the
So
book, the other book is coming.
yeah, I don't know. It might have to because I'm an old guy. I'm an elder, right? And so one thing when you get past 60, like 65, you have no patience for foolishness, right?
I agree. Yep.
And so I get triggered by conversations with people. And so
Mm-hmm.
every time I get triggered, I write an op-ed, like the part 1 and 2.
Oh,
That's because
I
I
like
had a
that.
question. I had a question with Brother Jerry, and we had not a question, a conversation for about an hour. He triggered me. So
Okay.
so
Okay.
so
So
Sunday
you
night,
laid
my
it
wife
out.
and I, yeah, Sunday night, my wife and I sit talking, and I'm eating dinner and talking, and I'm typing. I said, baby, I'm sorry, because I try not to do that when we're together, you know. And I'm writing, and I said, baby, but I gotta get this out. I gotta write this out there. So she sat there, listening, watching me. So I finished it. I let her read it, and I could listen to her say, ooh, mm-hmm. So then, after she read it, I said, so what do you think? She said, it's really nice, baby, but it's long. I said, I was hoping you'd
Oh,
say that because I thought it
oh,
was long too. So I
oh.
broke it in half. That's how you
And
got a 1 and 2. And the one
okay.
primes the pump. Tomorrow, I'm speaking specifically to really specific things that
Okay.
have the potential of changing our reality if people just listen and act. And like the minister, one of the reasons why I got on the school board when I was asked to sit, I Mayor Eric called me up 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Brother Gene, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, what do you need me to do, Brother Mayor? He said, well, I'm going to appoint you to the school board. Tomorrow you get sworn in.
Wait, whoa.
So
What?
wait. So so I said to him, I said, so Brother Mayor, what do you expect of me? He said, I expect you to be Brother G.
Okay.
So I'm the kind of cat that I ain't taking orders. I ain't following no crazy orders. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. You put me in a position of leadership. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna lead,
Lead.
right?
Lead.
So I told him, I said, well,
Yes.
Brother Mayor, I gotta talk to my family first. And then so I talked to my wife, talked to my daughters, talked to my sons. And then I called the minister down in DC and I said, Brother Minister, what would Minister Farrakhan say about me sitting on the school board? And without a hesitation, he said, Brother Gene, the minister said that investing in uh, Black institutions is noble, it's wise. But the majority of our children go to public schools. You should use your knowledge, skills, abilities, and influence to transform the public school system. And I've been on that job for 10 years.
Wow. Wow.
So
Wow. Mm.
we have to as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and subsequently the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that we have to make our cities, our communities, and our neighborhoods decent places to live. Well, until we fix the systems that govern where our people live, they'll never be decent. Someone will always be struggling. And so we
Okay.
have to reduce poverty. We have to improve efficiency because when you do those things, you drive more people, you become more attractive as a city to business, which is jobs or taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because people come to the city. Entertainment, because
Yes.
it's, people, businesses don't like risks, they like stability.
Right.
So until there's clear stability in our cities, like Newark, you see Newark is doing okay, but Newark could be doing a whole lot better.
Oh yeah, we out.
Newark could be doing, it could be doing a whole lot.
we're
But
behind.
y'all, yeah, but listen,
I
but
see the
look,
vision, and
yeah,
I feel like we're getting there, but
just
we
slow.
got a little slowed up right
Yeah,
now. We're a little
yeah, it's
slowed
just a
up
little slow.
because we
Yeah,
were
just a
going
little
real
slow.
fast. We were,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
now we're in
It's
this
yeah,
weird
because I
period
think
right now.
yeah, so when you think about strategic thinking, you have long-term strategies and then you have short-term strategies
Yeah,
that lead to the long-term strategy. And so you're working on the long-term strategy, but things change. So if you don't
yeah,
reevaluate your strategic plan or your strategies, then that's what happens. You slow down. And
yeah. Yep, that's what we are.
so yeah, and
So we
so
got to
but
adjust and figure out
right.
that momentum
Like,
back.
yeah, like
Yeah,
I was focusing on this, but right now that's kind of dry. What's next? Right.
right.
But if you do a long-term strategy with priorities, then you know what's next already. You literally
Exactly.
pivot instantly to go to the
Yeah.
next thing when you come up with that roadblock or such. But anyway, little sister, this was so much
Okay, wait.
fun.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Before you go, I need
yeah.
to read some comments from our guests. We
Okay.
had Che. He said that train station was a mess, but thank God it improved. Trenton Transit Center in Camden was ground zero of opioid nightmare. Thank you for cleaning up that area. They have no idea. That was from Che.
Yeah, Jay, that wasn't me. Somebody just paid attention and did the right thing.
They probably know you. You probably know them. And you probably
God
said
bless.
something and they said, hold on, let me go implement what Brother Gene told us. You got some good stuff.
So you got
Um
more?
William Hathaway says, what do you think about New Jersey's nonprofits trying to support their local communities and other programs?
They should. They should. You need them. We need them. The cities can't do that work by themselves.
Right.
But when you don't have a strategy that incorporates the non, like a document strategy, not the wild, wild west where people are just doing their own thing, everybody needs to work. What is the city strategy for people centered development? I wrote it, right?
Right.
What does
Right.
that look like? And then how does the city partner with these nonprofits to drive progress in a big way? Now, like some programs are needed. They keep people busy, which is really good. But you need to transform the reality of people. And the only way we do that is if the nonprofits partner with the city and raise it up. In other
Right.
words, if you got a nonprofit that the foundations feel comfortable with, then some of the smaller nonprofits, because you recruit, because you need people. So you
Mm-hmm.
bridge the smaller on the ground nonprofits to bring them to a collaboration at the large nonprofit level so that the foundations can fund certifications in plumbing, carpentry, training,
Right.
IT,
Oh,
nursing,
yes.
those things, right? So
Yes.
yeah, I worked for a nonprofit for 20 years. I retired from ETS. It's a nonprofit, multi-billion dollar nonprofit. They are incredibly valuable. It's
Yeah.
how they're utilized, which is different. We got to get away from the 1960s strategies working with these nonprofits. Times have changed. 60
Yes.
years, three generations have gone
Yes.
by, and we're still doing the same thing the same way. Something wrong. Even
Right.
styles change. Shut.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Right.
I'm just being
So,
simple about it. But yeah, I'm a fan of nonprofits. So I'm like the fan. Some are. I'm going to put this on the record because
okay.
that question elicits this from me.
Okay.
Some think nonprofits are poverty pimps. You've heard the term.
Yes. Yes.
You've
Yes.
heard the term.
Yes. Yes.
I believe
Yes.
that yes, money is going to support the nonprofit, and some of that money is going to support the people, but I don't necessarily call that poverty pimping. Um,
Okay.
because it needs to be guided. People
Okay.
only do what you allow them to do, and they only know what they know. And if the city isn't leading, then what you expect them to do what they think is best.
Yep. Yep.
So that's why I don't throw that word around, because I think it's disrespectful for the lives that these nonprofits touch. I just think they can do more, but that's got to be driven by a larger strategy and not just their individual strategies. That's all.
Okay. And William Hathaway, hello, Will. Thanks for joining too, by the way. He had another question. He said, what do you think about the difference between appointment by the mayor and a school board?
I gotta take a drink on that one. That was a good one, Will. Hold on a second. Woo!
Oh, you made me laugh.
All right. So my first, second, and third term, I was appointed by a mayor. There is no empirical evidence to say that an appointed board is better than an elected board, or an elected board is better than an appointed board.
So that's
it's the quality. Yeah. So it's the quality of the people that sit in the seat. It's also the quality of the strategy of the school district that's going to drive all of it. So now I'll share this with you, William. We are functioning in our last year of a 5-year strategic plan in Trenton. We're about to begin the next 5-year strategic plan, and that starts with going out to the different parts of the city, having these big community forums where the community provides feedback and ideas on what they believe the school district needs their children needs, right?
Okay.
And then that's how we get started with developing a strategic plan. And if you go to the Trenton School Board, K-12, trenton.k12.com or .us.
Okay.
And you just click on, I think it's About Us, it'll drop down and it will show you our strategic plan, the current one that we're on. And so there are 5 goal areas. One is student achievement. And so I think there's 5 or 6 goals in that thing. And so that work forms our decision making. Okay. Secondly, we are a master school board. In other words, each of us is a certified school board member by the New Jersey School Boards Association. And then we have collectively gone through the necessary training to become a certified board and a master school board, right? And that guides our thinking about the work. So like this fiscal responsibility. So on Monday night, we have our school board meeting. This Monday is going to be a very important school board meeting because our comprehensive audit gets presented. So we have an independent auditor, everything, and it gets presented. So you see the money. So I'm chair of the Operations and Finance Committee, have been since I got on the board, October 2016, right?
Wow.
And that's only because of my acumen and what I did at ETS, it lent itself to that. So you just need good people, whether they're appointed or elected, and you need to establish a criteria by which they are selected. You got where I'm coming from?
Not just I like your smile.
Yeah, none of that stuff because you wear nice suits or because you come to the cookout every year. No, it's it's gotta be more. Yeah, it can't be any of that. But so there's no empirical evidence to say whether one is better than the other. We just switched a few years ago back to an elected board. And I won't go into why that made it to the council to get done, but it was ridiculous because it complicates things. Because what you really need is continuity to drive progress. If every 3 years you got an election, then you lose continuity, right? So people don't really. That's called critical thinking. We got to go back to that.
Right. And you know people, when they talk about term limits, we gotta think about how are we gonna maintain the continuity.
Yeah. And so what I would say, and we do this as Black people very poorly. We don't do succession planning. We don't do
Right.
bench
I
strength. We
agree.
don't think about tomorrow, right? People need
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
prepared. You know what I mean?
I
And
agree.
so that's one thing that's going to help us, because I think there should be term limits. If you got a cat sitting on in a seat forever and ain't
Yeah,
nothing changed about your condition, that cat needs to be out the seat. If he can't do it, let's
exactly.
say 3 terms, right? You get three
Right,
strikes, right? Then you
right,
out of here, bro. You know what I
right. I,
mean?
I
Yeah.
I like two strikes because I think we're smart enough to come in already knowing the job and not having
No, we're
to
not.
learn on the job.
That's
We're not
that's the problem. There's no empirical evidence to support what you just said. And the blind can't lead the blind.
really. I
Yes, ma'am.
think there's people smart enough out there. I just don't think they
Yeah,
get a
but they
shot.
don't want to jump in. They don't want to jump in the game. See, that's the
Right,
problem.
right.
A
They
lot of
don't want to
people
be
like
bothered.
they don't want
They
to
don't.
be bothered. They don't want the aggravation. They don't want all that
Yeah,
stuff. Like sitting on the
yeah,
school board. It used to
yeah.
be a time when sitting on the school board was painful. Right now, I'm loving it. I mean, we are all, thank God, we got a great superintendent he's been moving us in the right direction. Everybody is down with us getting better. Teachers, administrators, parents, community. We all focused on driving that strategic plan, right? But
Okay.
I think that, depending on the term, if the term is only 2 years, that means you only got 4. 4 years ain't a long time.
Right.
6 is
I
better,
agree.
right? So that's why I said if you could spend 3 terms, or even 9. Like I've been on the school board for 10 years. We are just. I remember in my first year saying, when would we reach where we think we ought to be? And someone told me 10 years. We still ain't there, but we a long way from where we used to be.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
so I really
Okay.
think
Okay.
I think it's an interesting thought about term limits. And like these cats in Washington, they've been on it for 40 years. That's crazy, right? Even 20 years is nuts, right? But 10 years, a decade is pretty good. So
I
any
think,
other
yeah.
questions? Okay.
Let's see. That's pretty much it. Everybody's
Okay.
just watching. They're just watching.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you though. I appreciate you coming on.
Oh,
I
this was
did
fun.
thank you. I did put the link for your book in the
Oh,
comments.
great. Thank you, sis.
So
Thank you. Thank you so
it's on
much.
Amazon.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a cheap day too. It's not even $20. It's really a textbook. It's an abbreviated textbook, and because some of the content is really academic content, right?
Yeah,
And
it
and
is.
so it's really I figured, how could I keep it? I need you to keep it under $20 so that even people with no money could afford to buy it.
Right.
Pack of cigarettes cost you $20. Somebody told me. Is that true?
Probably so. I don't know.
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
can
so it's
definitely do those.
much
I
more
don't want to be
valuable
a
than a
smoker.
pack of cigarettes. Much more valuable than a pack of cigarettes. You know what I mean?
It is. It is. I mean, if you had a choice, I would go with the book, but a lot of people
So I
never
used to
get
be.
no
Listen, I used to
cigarette.
be a smoker. I used to be a smoker. I stopped smoking in 1992, I believe it was. Was
Oh
it
my.
92? Yeah, 92, 91, when cigarettes went to $1.50 a pack. I had one cigarette. I was on a trip.
Wow.
I was on a training trip. Man, I took that pack, balled it up, and ain't smoked since.
Wow.
$1.50, now it's $20. You know that's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy. One
yeah.
more question.
Yes, ma'am.
Will Hathaway says, is Ronald Lee the superintendent of schools? And he was the superintendent in Orange for years.
He was a interim or acting superintendent for us
Okay.
1, 2, 3 superintendents ago.
Okay.
Was a pleasure to work with. Um, I think that his tenure actually started our transition to where he was only there for a year.
Okay.
And it was a temporary position, but it allowed us to transition to where we're going. And then subsequently under the next superintendent, who was a principal, we actually did our first strategic plan so that so a quick story, one more story, and this is a quick one.
Go ahead.
So when we did our superintendent search, our current superintendent was one of the finalists. And what we did was we asked the finalists to come in for their final interview, prepared with a 180-day plan for the district using our strategic plan and our current year's budget as the guide.
Wow.
That's how we got Mr. James Earl. Yeah, impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta, we have to stop settling for this mediocre criteria on how we measure people. I mean, but it's okay because people really don't know. You just hope, something you said earlier, you hope people come prepared with the necessary knowledge, skills, and ability, or they wouldn't put themselves up for the position, right?
Exactly.
Sometimes ego get in the way, man. I'm just saying.
Okay. Because I'm wondering, like.
Sometimes you say, "Oh man, I could do," but then I will say this gonna be terrible too. But somebody gonna be mad at me. But I just gonna put it out there. If the guy was mediocre and the guy before that was mediocre, if you're mediocre, you might think you Superman compared to them cats. Wow. I'm just saying.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because the guy said, "Well, I've been pretty successful. I'm good at what I do. I take care of my family and all that. That's great." But this is different.
Right. So that's why I think it should be some type of preparation, because the people. Some people that we get in some leadership positions, they create the bottleneck. Yeah. Because they have no clue of anything.
Yes.
And it's like you didn't even read
Good to great.
Right. Good to great at all.
Yeah, it's but so
what's going on.
Yeah, and it's crazy. If you, and in the book, I talk about being prepared. I think there's a point in the book, if I'm not mistaken, where I talk about the things you need to know to be prepared for the job. Well, you can go to Dale Carnegie. You can go to some of these colleges and get these certifications. They're short-term certifications, 3 months, 6 months. The election ain't till November. Prepare yourself for the job.
Right. And you know what? I should have been more specific. Like, for me, preparation is also a vision. If you don't even have a vision, why are you here? Like, how are you gonna lead us? You don't even have a vision or an idea.
Yeah, so people have a lot of ideas, but manifesting them becomes a whole different thing, right?
And that too.
But you're right. You're right.
Well, these people with not even an idea. It's just pick me, put me there.
I got it.
Right. I got it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's a little more complicated to that. I think that what we need to do is, and this is at the crux of this book, is that we need to treat running our cities like a business. It's not politics. It's leadership and management. And so we need to approach it like that. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody, because this ain't rocket science. Everything that I've shared in this book, I learned over 50 years in corporations. This is like it's really not rocket science. And I already know I'm not the smartest guy. As a matter of fact, I know what I know, and I know what I don't know, and I stay in my lane. And so,
and that's preparation right there too.
Critical thinking too. Don't talk
Yep.
about what you don't know nothing about,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
sister, so
Thank
much.
you
This was
so much.
fun. I knew this. So, Brother Kevin said this would be fun spending time with you.
Yes.
I've
Yes.
enjoyed our telephone calls and I have had a ball. This was so much fun.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing insight to the audience. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you writing this book
Thank you,
too.
sister.
I
Thank you.
really I liked reading it. It wasn't hard or difficult.
Yeah, that was
It
told to
was
write. I was told a long time ago to write on a ninth grade reading level so even a sixth grader could read it
yes,
with a
yes,
little
yep,
stretch. You know what I mean? So yeah, I
right,
tried to
right.
keep it real. So I think there's only one thing that I use acronyms, but I go on to explain the acronym when I talk about quality.
Yes,
And
it,
right and the Six Sigma and actually doing some quality analysis stuff. But other than that, I tried not to use any acronyms. You know.
yeah, it was pretty good. It was
Yeah,
I
thank you.
enjoyed the book, and
Thank you, sister.
I'm definitely, you're welcome, going to use
All
some
right now.
strategies in
That's
here.
good.
And I got
That's
to do
good.
some synthesize and take what you have and
Marry it what
create
you know.
something else. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's right. Yeah, that's
absolutely.
what you do. See, that's how we make progress. So you take what my strengths are, marry them with what your strengths are. Bingo, then you're superwoman, right? Because you got a
Exactly.
little bit of this. It's like making a stew, a little pinch of this, a little pinch of that. You know. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And you gave me 50 years.
Yes, ma'am. God bless you, sister. Oh man, this was fun.
Yes. Thank you. So you
Yes,
have
ma'am.
a good night, but
Yes, ma'am. You too.
appreciate you.
And I'll give you a shout tomorrow if that's okay. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I'll give you a
Absolutely.
call.
All
All
right. You
right.
take
Thank
care,
you,
Brother
ma'am.
Gene. Nice to
Good
have you.
night.
I gotta have you back on too later
Yeah,
on.
not a problem. I'll
Yes.
come anytime. Not a
All
problem.
right.
God bless, sis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Brother Gene Bouie, the author of A City Worth Fighting For: Strategies to Lift Trenton and Its People. I like this book. I feel like I can apply it in Newark and to people who are out there running. I suggest you get this book and read it, and also use it to help our community be stronger and better. And also, if you could get Good to Great, I'm definitely going to buy it and put it in the library. Well, read it and have it in the library. And I need you all to be on the same page. Okay? Same page as this, too. So, without further ado, I will see you all later. This has been Current Exposure. I hope you enjoyed this more informed and educational conversation compared to other live streams. I wanted to bring something different, and feedback is welcome. But peace. I'm out of here. Current Exposure.